Hey Canucks fans, given the strength of the Canucks farm system, I'm not only excited about this season, but I'm excited for the years to follow as well. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Sunday, September the 2nd. Now, I know many Canucks fans like me are very excited about this season given all the off-season additions. Can't wait for the puck to drop next month. But we also are excited about the prospect pool, about the strength of our farm system, the strongest it's ever been, and that seems to be echoed by Corey Pronman. He's the prospects expert, one of the prospects experts for The Athletic, and he's coming out with his annual top farm system rankings, all 31 teams, and he just got to number 5 today, naming the Vancouver Canucks. He's going from 31 all the way to 1. Now, last year the Canucks finished second. This year the Canucks dropped 3 spots to number 5, but still a top 5 ranking. And the reason why that the drop, and Pronman says, is because Elias Pettersson, the Calder Trophy winner, is no longer considered a prospect, of course, having a full season under his belt. So that attributes mostly for that drop, but still top 5, can't argue with it. So let's get into his rankings and let's talk a bit about some of the players he ranks and some of the big changes from last season to this season and whether or not we agree or disagree with them. He has all these parameters, of course. Prospect is still prospect, still considered a farm system if it's no more than 25 games in a season, no more than 50 games overall, so on and so forth. I won't go through all the parameters now. I'll link to his article below. But in essence, this is the top 10 list he came up with this year. Hughes, Podkolzin, Demko, Juolevi, Madden, Hoglander, DiPietro, Wu, Lockwood, and Francis Perron recently traded for from the San Jose Sharks during draft time. So again, number 1, Hughes, number 2, Podkolzin, number 3, Demko, number 4, Juolevi, number 5, Madden, number 6, Hoglander, number 7, DiPietro, number 8, Wu, number 9, Lockwood, and number 10, Perron. Now, let's contrast that to the top 10 from last year, and then I'll talk about some nuances and some observations. Last year, number 1 was Hughes, number 2 was Pettersson, number 3 was Gaudette, number 4 was Lind, number 5 was Juolevi, number 6 was Demko, number 7, Dahlin, number 8, DiPietro, number 9, Lockwood, and number 10, McEwen. So a few things here. He has Hughes number 1 for both the years, which is fine. Hughes has only played five games, and he's exciting. He's very exciting, and actually, Corey Pronman called him the best skater in the entire draft class last season. Number 2 last year was Pettersson. Obviously, he has to fall off this year. Number 3 was Gaudette. He fell out of the top 10 this year, not only because he's played a few games, but he still made the parameters to be included in this list. I just think Pronman thinks that there are 10 guys that are more promising than Gaudette, but he's just outside of the top 10 this year. Number 4 last year was Cole Lind. He dropped to number 11 this year, so he still thinks that he can be a serviceable NHL player, but again, a lot of players have passed him. Number 5 last year was Juolevi. He's number 4 this year. Number 6 was Demko. He's up to number 3 this year. Number 7 was Jonathan Dahlin, traded. Number 8 was Michael DiPietro, who's number 7 this year. Number 9 is Will Lockwood, also number 9. Number 10 was Zach McEwen, just falls to number 12, so very similar rankings for McEwen. So you still have 5 or 6 of the guys still in the top 10 last year to this year. That's Hughes, that's Juolevi, that's Demko, that's DiPietro, and Lockwood. So that's 5 guys there. Pettersson falls out, of course. Gaudette fell out a little bit. McEwen fell a little bit. Lind fell a little bit. Still 11 and 12 there. And then, of course, Jonathan Dahlin got traded. Who are the new entries this year to make up for those 5 spots? Well, of course, there is Podkolzin and Hoglander, our first and second draft picks overall this season. Podkolzin is number 2, and Pronman loves his compete level, his feistiness, his offensive ability, his vision. The only thing he doesn't like was his skating. Hoglander at number 6. He loves his hands, of course, called him the best hands in the draft earlier in the summer, and he loves his playmaking ability and thinks he can be a second or third liner in the NHL. The biggest jump, though, actually, Francis Perron new because he just came over from the San Jose Sharks organization. And the other 2 new guys were Jet Wu. He went from number 12 to number 8, so that's good. He sees Wu as maybe a second liner in the NHL. And then the biggest jump was Tyler Madden. He was ranked 16 last year, and he jumped up all the way to number 5 this year. That might be because of a strong World Junior performance. And he admitted that he underestimated Madden's ability and his playmaking, his hockey IQ, his passing, his skating, all these things. He could become a very good NHL player. So that gets me excited, the fact that Tyler Madden as center, maybe he's the one that comes in as a 3rd or 4th center a few years down the road. So you look at that list of names: Hughes, Podkolzin, Demko, Juolevi, Madden, Hoglander, DiPietro, Wu, Lockwood, Perron. That is a good group of prospects. So overall, yeah, and I'm not going to get into this whole none of these guys were drafted by Mike Gillis, but mostly none of these guys were drafted by Mike Gillis. And that's part of it because Benning's been here for 5 years now. So these are guys, obviously, that Jim Benning has drafted, and he wants to see it through. And we can see this. You say all you want about his signings, his trades, or whatever it may be, but you can't argue with the fact that Jim Benning and his staff have done a really good job of mining talent, of unearthing talent in the draft. And that's why the prospect pool, that's why the farm system ranking is so high from year to year. So I get excited about all these guys. Obviously, Quinn Hughes will fall off this list next season. Thatcher Demko likely will fall off this list next season, and then maybe our draft picks next year will then come into this list. But, to see Podkolzin so high at number 2, to see Hoglander at 6, and to see how excited he is about Tyler Madden gives me hope for the forwards. And then you still have Juolevi and Wu on this list as D-men, and then DiPietro and Demko as goaltenders. So it's nice to see, I think 6 forwards, 2 D-men, and 2 goalies on his top 10 list. So that's the first part. That was the overall farm system. And then Corey Pronman winds up his article by doing a top 10 players 23 and under. And then there's there's actually 7 guys here on this list this year that were equivalent to last year. So, of course, he has Pettersson first, Brock Besser second, Quinn Hughes, our big 3, aside from Bo Horvat. So you got, because Horvat's too old now. So you got Pettersson, Besser, Hughes, then you have Podkolzin and Demko, Juolevi, Madden, Virtanen, Hoglander, and Goldobin. Compare that to last year, where it was Besser, Hughes, and Pettersson in that order. That was interesting. So he had I always say that, Betterson. He had Besser, Hughes, and Pettersson. He had Pettersson number 3. And then he had Bo, who's gone, too old. Gaudette, gone, not because he's too old, but simply just falls off a little bit. Cole Lynn fell off a little bit. And then Juolevi, Demko, Goldie, and Virtanen. So there are 7 guys that are common to his top 10 players, 23 and under. And that is Pettersson, Besser, Hughes, Demko, Juolevi, Virtanen, and Goldobin. It's interesting to see Virtanen and Goldobin, both 2 guys that we Canucks fans want to see more of course. And then that means the 3 guys that fell out were Bo, Gaudette, and Lynn. 3 guys that are new this year are Podkolzin and Hoglander and Madden, for reasons that I talked about just a few minutes ago. So you look at that list of players and we get excited. Of course, Pettersson joins this list now because no longer a prospect, but he's still under the age, 23 or younger. So look at this list overall. I'm excited. I really am. And it's easy to say, oh, well, of course they're going to be good. They've missed the playoffs 4 seasons in a row, so of course they're going to have a high draft picks. But just because you have a high draft pick doesn't mean they're going to turn out. And obviously we're excited about guys like Pettersson and Hughes. Those guys have turned out at the top of the draft pick, right? At the top of the draft order. Besser was a late first rounder. Then you guys have guys that were in the top 6, like Juolevi and Virtanen, who we're still unsure of. We want them to succeed, but we're still unsure of them. So overall, I love it when I see articles like this. I always love it when I see any preview or any lists, the Canucks listed on any top list, especially when they're near the top of that list as opposed to the bottom. It's nice to see what other people, I've talked about this before, it's nice to see what other people in the league are saying about the Vancouver Canucks system, Vancouver Canucks organization. But of course, when it comes to future, when it comes to prospects, you want to see us near the top as opposed to near the bottom, because that means not only will we get excited about what happens this season, but we will get even more excited for what's going to happen down the road. Imagine a lineup 3 or 4 years from now that has in the top 6, perhaps you have Besser, Horvat, Pettersson, Hoglander, Podkolzin, guys like that, Tyler Madden and the third line center, and then you still have Miller and Ferland finishing up. They'll still be under contract with us. That's starting to shape up to be a really nice top 9. Then on the back end, you'll still have guys like Quinn Hughes, maybe Ole Juolevi, Troy Stetcher. You still have Tyler Myers. So I get excited, and then of course we'll see what happens with Jacob Markstrom. But then you still have DiPietro and Demko as goaltenders. So when you project a lineup for 4 years out from now, it's pretty exciting. Yeah, they're going to be young overall, but then you have like Horvat and Besser reaching 26, 27 years old, getting the prime of their careers. So I see optimism. I see reasons for us to get excited. It doesn't mean we shouldn't get excited for this season. I'm excited for this season as well. You guys know that. You could tell from my video from yesterday where I said this month about 2,000 times. But I'm excited for everything that's going to happen this month. But I'm also excited for what's going to happen not only this year, but going down the road in the future, based on everything that we just talked about for the last 10 minutes. So Canucks fans, leave a comment below. Do you think that the number 5 farm system ranking is fair? Do you think that's too high? Do you think that's too low? And do you share Parliament's excitement for guys like Podkolzin, Hoglander, and the biggest jumper in his rankings from year to year, Tyler Madden? Leave a comment below. I'd love to read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Enjoy the day. God bless, and go Canucks go.